My family and two other families, friends, went to the Dream World a few years ago. One of the couples decided to buy special passes for our children, for all the children, so all three families. Generally, there are long lines at Dream World. If you've been there, you know this. People wait for hours before they experience a ride. You wait for hours and hours before you experience a ride. But these special passes were really special. Our children did not need to wait in lines. They were just going and doors were being opened for them. They had even a different path for them, for special people. While the rest of the mortals are waiting, special people will come with special passes and just show that you are special, and they will open, and you will go before even 200 people. They open for you. That's how unfair being special can be. That's how being special feels like. Yes. At the end of the day, Iris went on all the rides. All of them without exception. Our children left that place feeling unique. I wonder if they still feel special today. I wonder if they still feel like that. What does it take for you to feel special? I wonder if there are such people as special people on earth. Do we have people who know they are special or feel special on earth? What does it take for you to feel special? Are you special? Do you feel special? Do you know that you've been chosen by God? Do you know that you are already special? God wants you to live this life constantly feeling special. That's His plan. That you will live on earth feeling special. So let's turn to the Bible to see what God says about you and how special you are. Romans chapter 8, 29 to 30. For those He foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son, so that He would be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those He predestined, He also called. And those He called, He also justified. And those He justified, He also glorified. When we read this passage, sometimes it's just a lot of theology going on. There has been a lot of debate about this passage. But I will share with you what I hear Paul saying here. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is that God foreknew you. God foreknew you. Foreknowing is different from making it happen. Foreknowing is not the same as dictating what will happen. Is foreknowledge. God knew from eternity that you will respond to Him. Stay with me. This is quite an important theological topic because people have created even denominations around this. So let's stay together. For example, the meteorologists, they forecast the weather. They know it will rain, but they don't make it rain. They don't dictate the rain. They don't make it fall. They just predict it. God knows who will respond to Him. Even though He doesn't dictate you to respond to Him, but He knows you will. That is the difference. He doesn't manipulate you. He creates circumstances so you can respond to Him. But you still have a choice to see what He's doing and reject it or accept it. The fact that you are listening to me this morning indicates that God foreknew that you would respond to Him. The fact that you are here in this room this morning, someone invited you, or you just woke up this morning and thought, I maybe go to church. After 5 weeks, you've never been to church. Today you chose to be here because God foreknew you will respond to him. The fact that you are here, you are listening to this, to my voice, means there is something about you, something special about you. There's something unique about you. There is another passage that people always talk about in Matthew 22:14. It says, "For many are invited, but few are chosen." Jesus told a parable of a king who invited people to a wedding banquet. But they gave excuses. They did not show up. Some of them were even hostile to the king's servant. Then the king asked his servant to go on the street and invite whoever was willing to come. Listen, whoever was what? Willing to come. People gave excuses not to come. Jesus said, okay, go and call those who are willing to come. So they went on the street. People gave excuses. Oh, I have a wedding to attend. Oh, I have a babysitter, what do we call baby shower? Baby shower. I don't know if they wash babies on that day, but they have baby showers. Or I have a business meeting. Or I have this and I have that and I have this and I have that. People gave excuses. I have a business meeting to do. I have this, I have. People gave excuses not to be there. So Jesus said, the king said, fine. Go on the street and find the people on the street and ask them to come to my party. Those who were willing came. Strangers, non-deserving guests attended this party. These were called the chosen. They were not chosen because they were invited, because everybody was invited. They were chosen because they responded to the invitation. So that is the difference. When you read the Bible and you hear the word called or chosen, that's what it means. In Matthew, everybody is called. In Matthew, everybody is called. But those who respond to the calling are the chosen. In Romans, he says those who are called, we'll talk about that, but those who are called are the chosen. Because he foreknew they will respond. That's why he called them the called. And called can mean different things, different places. In Romans, called means those who are chosen. In Matthew, called means invited. Are we together? You are not here by accident. You are not here by accident. You are here because you've responded to an invitation. Therefore, you've been chosen. God knew you would respond to him, so he predestined you. Because he knew you will respond to him, he predestined. The chosen were also predestined. Pre stand for before. Before you were born, before you came into the world, God knew you. This is important for you to know. Before you came to the world, God knew you. But it's predestined. Destiny speaks of future. He knew the future. He knew you before you came to earth, but he knew your future. Stay with me. Stay with me. Before you were born, God had already been working on your future. Before you were born, he was busy preparing your future. Jeremiah 1:5. I chose you before I formed you in the womb. I set you apart before you were born. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. God chose Jeremiah before he was born. What does that mean? It means God knew, destined, future, everything about Jeremiah. God knew you before you were born. That means God was working on your life before you were even conceived. He was already busy. He foreknew you. Because he foreknew you, he created an environment that will accommodate your future. God created an environment that will fit you. This is what he did. He chose your parents. You like them, you dislike them, you hate them, you love them. He chose them for you. God chose your town where you will be born, the hospital where you will be born. He chose it. He predestined. He organized that for you. So you will be born in that family. It doesn't matter how ignorant you think your father is. It doesn't matter how harsh you think your mother is. She was chosen by God to bring you to earth. God chose your skin color. He chose your gender. He predetermined who you will be. Your instinct, your talent, your country of origin, your eye color. God chose your skin color, your IQ, and everything about you to fit the story he prepared for you. He chose everything. You were not white by accident. You were not black by accident. You are not Asian by accident. You are not a Latino by accident. You are not yellow by accident. You are not Indian by accident. You are not who you are by accident. God foreknew you. He foreknew you. God did not only foreknew you, but he also predestined you. He made everything to fit your story. God was busy working on you before you were born. Let me tell you something. I chose the word seed instead of the other word so that you can understand better. Among roughly 300 million seeds, God picked you to fertilize the egg in your mother's womb. 300 million. The chances that you will come to earth were like 300 million times. So anybody could have conquered that race, but you did. And you still call yourself a mistake. You still call yourself a mistake. I don't know why I'm alive. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why. Why? 300 million people were fighting for that opportunity. You got it. And still. Sometimes we don't think the way God thinks. We don't see things as God sees them. And he looks at you. Are you sure you are a mistake? Do you know how many people were fighting for that opportunity? And how many times? Before you were born? God foreknew you. Then he predestined you. He prepared the ground for you. You know what? I really don't care. My mother, my father, my sisters, my brother, I just thank God for them. Because God knew that is the family that will bring you to earth. I'm proud of them. I couldn't choose better. Like I couldn't choose anything else. I wouldn't love to be in your family. I wouldn't love to be part of your family. I wouldn't. I'm not jealous of you. I'm not jealous of you. I'm not jealous of you. I love my family for what it is. Oh, I wish I was black. Oh, I wish I was white. I wish. Keep wishing. Okay. And then God said, foreknowing and predestination is my job. Because when God foreknew, you were not there. When God foreknew, you were not there. He foreknew you, you were not yet born. Then he predestined. He started to plan everything about you. You were not there. God knew that you will be here today before you were born. So he said, okay, I'm going to prepare things for him. But how is he going to know what I've done for him? That's when he called you. Calling is when God brings the eternal plan into time. He informs you of what he's been doing, that he calls you. Those he predestined, he called. That's the day you came to earth. Eternity comes to time. Eternity came to time when you were born. That's not the day you started. Oh, no. The day you were born is not the day you started. You existed in God's eternity. Before you came to time, That day you came to time was just a manifestation of things that were planned for eternity. Calling is when God makes you aware of his plans. When he brings into time what he's been working on in eternity. So let's talk about you've been called. You've been called. You've been called. In Matthew 22, God called everybody. Everybody was invited to the feast. The context of called in Matthew is a general invitation to all humans. But the context of called in Romans 8 is a specific revelation to those inclined to respond to God's general calling. So those who respond to God's call are the chosen. The chosen. God called you, you responded, therefore you've been chosen. You know, you don't call someone without purpose. You need to be crazy, really foolish, to just pick your phone. 04256867. Hello? Hello? Who are you? Who are you? Yeah, I was just calling. Why are you calling me? I just felt like calling this number. You know how we call people like you? Okay. Crazy. In every sense of the word. Why? God called you because he had a purpose for you. Every call has a purpose. God called you because he had a purpose. He put all the efforts into preparing the ground before he called you. And then he called you to fit in that purpose. He spent eternity to prepare for you, and then he called you to fit in that purpose that he has established for you. That's why we say he predestined you. He moved things around you so you couldn't find yourself where you didn't belong. God ordered your steps. He brought the right people around you. He let some people leave you to push you into the purpose he predestined for you. When people come to your life, say thank you. When people leave you, say thank you. Some people have to go before you step into your destiny. You just say bye. Let them go. It's okay. It's painful. It hurts. But you know what? I've stopped trying to be liked by people. It's so tiring. Oh, please stay. Please stay. I don't know what to do if you leave. Please stay. Please stay. People don't care how much you cry. People are selfish. When you stop giving them what they want from you, they leave you anyway. Let them leave earlier before they take enough. Before they empty you. Let them go. God will make some people leave your life. It's okay. And you know what? Even though some of you were abandoned by your parent, that's your story. That's your story. It's okay. Some people dear to you, you know, your ex abandoned you. They thought without me she can't make it. You're still here. Without him. Or without me. We'll see. I do everything for her. You are still here. They left you. Oh, I do everything for him. I will leave him. He's still alive. From the day you left. In fact, they've become healthier. God takes some people from your life for a reason. Let them go. So, but why would God do all these things? Why would God push you into a purpose? Why would God do all these things, all this work in eternity for you? Why? Why would God go out of his way for you? This passage is about your significance. When we read Romans 8:29, People have created denominations around it. Oh, we are for predestinations. Oh, we are for grace. Oh, we are for justice. You can be whatever you want to be. This passage is not about religion. This passage is about your value. That's why Paul wrote this. It's about my significance. God did all that for me. That's what I see here. The spirit of this text is about your value in God's eyes. God cannot put all the time and work into something insignificant. He cannot. You know what? If you knew you were significant, you wouldn't give yourself to anybody who pretended to want you. Pretended to want you. You injected things in your body and smoked stuff because you didn't know how significant you were. If you knew you were significant, you wouldn't go to those places. Significant people don't go there. You wouldn't drink those things. You wouldn't do that. If you knew you were significant, you are so significant to God that He was busy preparing your life and everything about you in eternity. There are things you do, there are places you go because you don't know your value in God's eyes. He spent eternity to prepare you, and then when you come on earth, the work of the devil is to tell you you are useless. You are insignificant. The devil will whisper that to you. He will create event. He will create event. He will create event to prove to you. And you see, and your father left you. And you see, and your ex left you. And you see, look at what they're saying at school. Everybody says this about you. Everybody says that. Why are they saying that? Satan wants to prove to you you are useless. And God will use all those events to prove to you you matter to Him. You are significant. He allows all those events to glorify Himself. Maybe you think that your past has disqualified you. Maybe you think God could have picked someone with fewer issues, with less baggage, with more talent. But on purpose, God chose you. Your story is not wasted. That setback was meant to prepare you. God knows. He knows what you did last week. God knows what you did last time. He knows, but He still chose you. Because your story does not disqualify you in God's eyes. God chooses people that society wouldn't expect. David was small. Goliath was at least double the size of David. But still God chose David. Do you think you are small? Look at David. Moses had a problem with speech. And he made the mistake of killing someone. So, not that he had an issue with speech only. He went far and killed someone. But God chose him to confront Pharaoh and lead the people of Israel out of Egypt. The woman at the well, she was the talk of the town. Everybody knew she had 5 husbands. And at that time, that was a shame. 5 husbands. And she was living with a 6th man who was not even her husband. It was another shame on top of the shame. She graduated in shame. Doctor in shame. That's woman. But you know what? She was the first person Jesus ever told He was the Messiah. Someone with that reputation in town. You think you are disqualified? Look at her. The disciples, they were not qualified. Peter was emotionally unstable, like some of us in this room. In the morning you are here, in the afternoon you are here. Okay, I'm not going to give examples because I know everybody here. Just know you are like Peter, it's okay. Thomas had a doubting spirit. Jesus chose him. Matthew. No one trusted Matthew. Do you know that all the Jews blacklisted Matthew? He was blacklisted. No one trusted him. He partnered with Romans? No. No one could trust Matthew. And Jesus said, this guy, this blacklisted man, I will use him. Why are you disqualifying yourself? Thinking that you have too many flaws, or you don't come from the right background, you don't fit in, you've made too many wrong choices. God knew every mistake you'd made and still chose you. And I mean it. Jesus knew Peter would deny him and still chose him. If I was Jesus, I wouldn't choose Peter. People may disprove you, but God has chosen you. Stop trying to win people to accept you. You've been accepted. Until you change the way you see yourself, nothing will change about you. Sorry you came to church to hear this today. Until you stop trying to earn people's approval, you will never be approved. If your value depends on what people say about you, then they will dictate your value. They clap for you, you feel valued. They stop, you feel, they will be. And humans are like that. Today they like you on social media, tomorrow they all dump you. I've seen it with people. Why? Because people change. People change. Don't try to find your approval from people or from anyone. God has approved you. The correct view is when you see yourself as God sees you. When you know you are chosen, you live with confidence, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. They may seem too big when opportunities come across, but I will not disqualify myself. Don't say, I'm not educated, I'm not good enough for it, I don't belong in this room. God has so much confidence in you. He could not put you there if he knew you would fail. God equips those he calls. God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Matthew 21, 2-3, telling them, go into the village ahead of you. At once you will find a donkey tied there with her colt. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, say that the Lord needs them and he will send them at once. 21, 6-8. The disciples went and did just as Jesus directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt. Then they laid their clothes on them, and he sat on them. A very large crowd spread their clothes on the road. Others were cutting branches from the trees and spreading them on the road. Jesus chose the donkey. He did not need a donkey to enter Jerusalem. Jesus is the creator of the universe. He could have teletransported himself, but he chose to partner with his creation. God from the beginning chooses to partner with creation, with us. God chooses us to use us. He doesn't need us, but he wants us. God gave you gifts, talents, blessings, a job, a business, a family, and all the blessings you are enjoying. Then he called you because he wants to use everything you have and all that you are in partnership with him to build his kingdom. The donkey's owner did not know his donkey was about to make history. Jesus did not step on the cloth and branches on the road. It's the donkey's feet that were stepping on the cloth and branches. The value of that donkey depended on who was riding it. Your value depends on who you carry. Let me expand. It's the donkey that was stepping on the cloth. It's the donkey that was stepping on the branches, not Jesus. Jesus was on the donkey, but the donkey was stepping on the cloth. By honoring Jesus, the donkey was just, ooh, thank you. The donkey was enjoying the ride because it was carrying Jesus. Your value depends on who you carry, not you. Jesus in you. You will step on clothes and branches on this earth because you carry Jesus. because you carry Jesus. Don't undervalue yourself. God is asking you, can I use you? Can I borrow the gift I gave to you? Can God borrow the gift he gave to you? Everything God gave you is a loan. You won't take it with you. Do you know that? Even this body is a loan. Can God use it? You never know what God will do with you and your life until you let him use it. Until you allow God to use you, you never know your value. Until the donkey allowed Jesus to ride it, he did not know its value. It was just a donkey. It was just a donkey. But now we are talking about it. It has made history because it allowed Jesus to ride it. Would you allow Jesus to ride you? Would you allow Jesus to use you? The mercy of God is bigger than any mistake you've made. You are not stuck where you are. God wants to use you. People look at what you've done. God looks at who you are becoming. There was a lady who was ill. She was unwell and she had a son. But she was rich. She had this big house and stuff in it. So she said she's going to do auction. She's going to sell all that she has. And she put everything on sale. And when people came to buy stuff, she said the first thing that will be auctioned will be this photo of my son on the wall. He was a young boy, under 10. And people said, I will wait. People waited. Okay, I will wait for the fridge. I will wait for, the bed and other stuff. And the lady who was working in that home, the maid, she said, I was caring for this child. I want this memory. I want this photo. So I will buy this photo. I said, how much the photo? $10. Okay, $10. The maid paid for the photo. And then the lady said, okay, the auction is over. Turn the photo around. And at the back, the photo said, whoever gets the son, get it all. Mm-hmm. Whoever gets the son, get it all. She inherited everything in that house. Because if you have this son, you will look after them. Okay. Whoever gets Jesus, get it all.